Hi everyone, my name is Rio Cortez and I am the author of the picture book, The ABCs of Black History, illustrated by Lauren Sommer and out now from Workman Books. I am so excited to be joining Green Bean Books in Portland, Oregon for this story time, which is definitely an amateur story time hour for me. I'm not as skilled as some booksellers and librarians when they read along, so I'll have like a little method to my madness as I read. But I'm excited to share the book with you, and I'm excited to talk a little bit in between the pages about the illustrations and some of the context, and if there are figures or moments that are unfamiliar to you as a student of Black history or student of the world, then at the end I'll go over some of the back matter and the way that I approached back matter in this book. But this is written as a rhyming poem, and I hope it introduces all readers to new figures in Black history that are definitely worth exploring more. So I'm going to start by taking off this jacket. As we know, like, there's always a nice treat when you take off a picture book jacket and you see what's underneath. And so for me, what I love is that the hardcover under the jacket is Lauren's illustration for Harlem. So a little sneak preview for the letter H there for you. Okay, let's begin. So I think I'll read the page and then I'll show it to the screen, and then I'll just kind of talk about it a little too. So I started the book with this James Baldwin quote: "History is not the past, it is the present. We carry our history with us. We are our history." Okay, we'll start with the letter A is for anthem, a banner of song that wraps us in hope, lets us know we belong. We lift up our voices, lift them and sing. From stages and street corners, let freedom ring. And here is an image of a young person carrying a banner. It says, "Let us march on till victory is won." B is for beautiful. I'm talking to you. Your voice, your height, your hair, your hue. B is for brave, for bright and for bold, for those who stood up even when they were told to step back, stand down, remember their place. B is for brotherhood, for believing in grace. C is for community, where we live, laugh, and eat, and for church, where we worship, mourn, sing, and meet. Did you hear Reverend King preach on his dream of civil rights, human rights, a powerful theme? There's a place of worship and a community here, and then Dr. King. D is for diaspora, pulled from our homes. We were carried away in ships on the foam to Haiti, Cuba, America, Brazil. Our names are different, new, but still. We are connected, then, now, forevermore, to that long ago, far away African shore. So here's the page for diaspora and the way that it connects all the way back. E is for explore, to study a place, like Matthew Henson, the Arctic, Mae Jemison, space. E is for education, for expanding the mind, like Ruby Bridges, Linda Brown, the Little Rock Nine. The first Black children in all white schools, they opened the doors and they challenged the rules. Here is a young reader with pages of the book coming to life, and there's Mae Jemison top in her spacesuit and Matthew Henson down in the Arctic. And then over here, these are some of the first students to integrate American schools. F is for food, grown and farmed with our hands, worked and tilled and pulled from the land, for fried fish, ham hocks, warm buttermilk bread, or maybe the sharp taste of mustards instead. F is for folklore by the light of the moon, for family, for freedom, for jumping the broom. Here's Lauren's scene. There's some folks jumping the broom there. And there's all this delicious food being farmed and eaten by the people that farm it. G is for go. Towards cities we were bound, for the great migration from country to town. From farming the land to the factory floor, we carried the blues on our back, not much more. There's a young person walking, suitcases, this train going from the country to the city. H is for Harlem, those big city streets. We walked and we danced to our own jazzy beat. When Louie and Bessie and Duke owned the stage and Langston and Zora Neale Hurston the page. So this is that cover I was telling you all about. And there's so many good little gems in here that Lauren has drawn in her interpretation of Harlem, which I love. I is for imagine, invent, innovative, for all of the ways we are so creative. And there's some portraits here. There's Jean-Michel Basquiat, the artist, Gwendolyn Brooks, the poet, Alvin Ailey, the dancer and choreographer, Madam C.J. Walker, the entrepreneur, DJ Kool Herc, the musician, the DJ, and George Washington Carver, the inventor. Lots of legendary folks. J is for Juneteenth. We were finally free, or so we hoped in this moment of glee. J is for Juve, when the drummers drum. From Trinidad, Grenada, and Haiti they come. I love this page. It's so vibrant. You see costumes from Juve, and then a symbol of liberation and freedom for Juneteenth. I love that. K is for kin, our fathers and mothers, our ancestors, elders, our sisters and brothers. K is for Kwanzaa, which honors that bond. Ask Habari Ghani and we might respond. Here's an image of folks celebrating Kwanzaa. And then on this page, you'll find all the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, but they're really little. It tells you a little bit about each. Let's get in here. L is for love. L is for love. L is always for love. And so this page has more portraits of different figures of love. Here's Ozzy and Ruby, and there's the legendary cowboy Nat Love. Here's the Loving family. Marsha P. Johnson over there with the flowers in her hair. M is for march, for lifting our feet, taking the movement, the cause to the street. Black lives matter, every breath, every dream, every thought, each idea, each impossible scheme. The might of our message is easy to hear. The drumbeat of hope is louder than fear. And so, what Lauren has done great job at doing in her image here is representing time through these marchers' signs. So you'll see some of these marchers' signs represent moments in our civil rights movement, and as we move forward, they get to present day. So that's kind of neat. N is for newspapers. We started our own to tell our stories and let it be known. We deserved the front page. We deserve to be seen and to also be featured in slick magazines. Here's an image of all these hands and some slick magazines and newspaper here. And there's a little an illustration of Ida B. Wells there. O is for organize, for getting together, to sit in and boycott and make our lives better. Thank you, Fred Hampton. Thank you, Diane Nash, for not being afraid of the possible clash with police and people who shouted and teased. Because of you, we can go where we please. And this is a laundromat and a diner with folks sitting in and peacefully protesting. P is for power. It's part of our core. Sometimes it is quiet, sometimes it must roar. Like a panther. Isn't that right, Huey P? Power for people like you and like me. And who do you think has more power than most? The president. Obama was first to that post, but Shirley Chisholm, unbossed and unbought, came so much closer than most people thought. A Black woman could, which just goes to show, P is for possible, so glow on, child, glow. I love this one. Okay. Q is for queens, behold and bow down, shield your eyes from the shine of their crowns. And around this table are so many different kinds of queens. Figurative queens like Toni Morrison and Angela Davis and Ruby Hurley, to literal queens like Queen Amina and Nefertiti. A lot of power at that table. R is for rise, to reach for the top, relentlessly striving, refusing to stop, like ball players, boxers, and gymnasts who fly, sprinters and skaters who zoomed right on by, old records, old thinking, a sight to behold. They went for the win, and they grabbed for the gold. I'll try to back up. Excuse me more. There's Gabby Douglas and Muhammad Ali, Jesse Owens, Shawnee Davis, Althea Gibson. So, some incredible record-breaking athletes and groundbreaking, and not just athletes, but activists. S is for science, scientists who charted the stars, studied the bees, took care of our hearts. For Benjamin Banneker, Patricia Bath, and Katherine Johnson's beautiful math. S is for soul, how sweet the sound, from the croon of Sam Cooke to the wail of James Brown. Brother Ray on the keys, Sister Tharp dressed in mink, and Queen Aretha sang, You Better Think. This is a constellation of those ideas, science, and soul. Okay. T is for Tuskegee, an all-black school, where students learned trades and toiled with tools. That's how we will rise, said Boss Booker T. But another smart man just didn't agree. W.E.B. Du Bois said, industry's fine, but I think it's better to work on your mind. They had different ideas, but here's what is true. In their own ways, they are thinking of you. There's Booker T. There's Du Bois. U is for United States. This story is tough. The birth of the nation was deadly for us. We the people in the land of the free, no one who was enslaved would agree. U is for unbroken, unshaken, unbound, like Harriet Tubman who went underground, took back her freedom and freed hundreds more, then was a spy in the Great Civil War. But when the states were united again, the fight for our freedom and lives didn't end. So U is for unfinished, this American tale. With courage and strength, we will prevail. We gotta go far back for this. So this flag is David Hammond's African-American flag. David Hammond's this visual artist, and it actually hangs at the Studio Museum here in Harlem. And this is Harriet Tubman. Her lantern, you can see. One of the least overrated figures in Black history, in my opinion. V is for vote. Do you know what that means? The freedom to pick and choose as you please. The freedom to choose who makes the rules, who has the power, who gets the tools to make their lives better. That's why we fight. The freedom to vote is a true civil right. And Lauren does a great job of representing the arc of history in this voting line too, starting from the right side and going down. Looks like a mail-in ballot, a lot like what we experienced in 2020. W is for writers whose wisdom and words bring to life worlds where our voices are heard. Rappers and poets and songwriters too, all those who spin from our point of view. And this is a young reader reaching up at a shelf with these incredible books by people like Bell Hooks and Phyllis Wheatley and Angela Davis and Alexandra Dumas and Paul Robeson, and on and on. X is for Malcolm, Malik El-Shabazz, known also as Red Malcolm Little El-Hajj. By any means necessary, he insisted on change. Starting with X, he reclaimed his name. And Lauren's drawn sort of a little visual history of the life of Malcolm X here. You can see. Y is for young, gifted, and black, like Lady Lorraine, who never looked back. She wrote of big dreams in rooms so small, it's hard to believe they were dreamed in at all. Lorraine and her work moved Nina Simone so much that Nina made work of her own. Young, gifted, and black, a banner of song that wraps us in hope, lets us know we belong. And it's Lorraine Hansberry and Nina Simone. And here we are. Z is for zenith, the highest, the peak, the top of that mountain King said we would reach. He won't get there with us, but still we march on, rising, rising, like the sun with the dawn. I had to give you the whole thing, I had to scooch back. But there it is. And that is the end of my alphabet on Black history. And then I'll just give you a little peek at sort of what the back matter looks like. So it's a few pages like this, where if you encounter a person or if you heard the name of a person who you weren't so familiar with, my hope is that you can use the back matter as a resource to explore more and kind of get a little bit more information about moments in history or folks in history that might be new to you. And in general, my hope is that the ABCs of Black history plants those seeds for readers of all ages. I think that understanding Black history better gives us a clear understanding of what's happening in the world today, and I truly believe that. And if this book can bring you closer to that understanding, I'd be very happy. I hope that you can pick it up at Green Bean Books in Portland, Oregon. Thank you so much for joining me at Storytime. Again, my name is Rio Cortez, and this picture book that you just heard is The ABCs of Black History. Okay, be well.